The night storm roared over the dark towers of Doomstadt Castle, like the wail of departed souls. Blue lightning streaks stained the Latveria sky, illuminating the silhouette of an intruder moving swiftly along the sheer stone walls. Adamantium claws dug into ancient fissures, making no sound to drown out the howling wind. Wolverine. Logan didn't like missions like this. Infiltrating the lair of a bloodthirsty, superpowered dictator, a madman but also one of the greatest minds on the planet. But the artifact Doom had stolen from an abandoned Weapon X lab in the Canadian Rockies was too dangerous to fall into anyone's hands, especially Victor Von Doom, a hard drive containing the entire original data of the project, of himself. The castle's security system was a deadly labyrinth. Pressure-sensing lasers, floors that could open into chasms, automated plasma cannons hidden within the walls. But to someone who had lived through more than a century of war and hunting, it was child's play. The smell of machine oil, the ozone of electrical circuits, and the sizzling metal were clearer signposts than any map. He weaved through them all, a silent ghost, until he stood before the steel door leading to the central laboratory. His right claw pierced the lock as easily as butter. The sliding door swung open with a soft creak. The room inside was vast, bathed in the cold blue light emanating from rows of computers and enormous power coils. In the center, on a stone pedestal, was the hard drive, a small, sleek, black block of metal, out of place amidst the colossal machines. Logan stepped forward, instinct screaming in his mind. Something was wrong. Too easy. The moment his hand touched the cold surface of the hard drive, the entire room lit up. The stone walls vanished, replaced by an endless expanse of blue and black grid lines, like an illusory chessboard stretching to infinity. A low, intelligent, and cruel laugh echoed through the space. How disappointing. From the shadows of the digital dimension, a figure emerged. A gray-blue titanium suit, a dark blue cloak billowing even without wind, and a cold iron mask with two eye sockets glowing with a menacing, intelligent light. Dr. Doom. I was expecting a real test. An X-Men team, perhaps, or my obnoxious colleague Richards. But instead, they sent a wild beast. Doom said, each word ringing like a brass bell. You think you can sneak into Doom's house, touch Doom's possessions and survive? Shut up, you Kane, Logan roared, the claws on his hands snapping open with a characteristic clanging sound. Return what doesn't belong to you, and I'll consider not turning your armor into scrap metal. Doom didn't move. He merely tilted his head slightly, like an entomologist observing a ferocious insect. Do you really believe that crude metal can harm me? Your beastly arrogance is foolish. But all right, I'll give you a chance. Show me your true nature. Let me see how the immortal will kneel. Logan needed no further invitation. He launched himself like a bullet, his right claws swinging up, aimed directly at the seam between Doom's mask and neck armor. The attack was so fast the surrounding air shrieked, but it stopped mere inches from the armor's surface. A hexagonal green energy shield flared, blocking the blow with a tremendous kinetic feedback that hurled Logan backward. He landed like a cat, but his right arm was numb, a basic force field. Did you think I would not be prepared? Doom slowly raised his iron gauntleted right hand. From his palm, a bolt of black-violet electricity shot out, aimed not at the torso but directly at Logan's knee joint. The current was not merely energy, it was a precisely calculated neural pulse, mimicking the brain's inhibitory signals. Logan's left leg suddenly buckled, completely disabled, your skeletal joints, even reinforced with adamantium. The ligaments and tendons connecting them remain organic matter, dependent on electromagnetic signals from the brain. Just a minor intervention, Doom lectured, his voice flat like a professor. Logan roared, trying to stand, but Doom was already right in front of him. A punch from the dictator, assisted by the servo joints in his armor, struck Wolverine squarely on the chin. It was not just physical force. The moment the fist connected, a surge of dark psychic energy from the gem on Doom's gauntlet transmitted directly into Logan's mind. The world around him collapsed. It was no longer the illusory laboratory. He was in a cramped steel cage, naked, his body covered in wires and needles. The blurred faces of Weapon X scientists watched him through thick glass, clipboards in hand. The agony of liquid adamantium being injected into his body, the pain that seared every cell, flooded back like a tsunami. He screamed, not the roar of a warrior, but the howl of a wounded beast, betrayed, robbed of its soul. He saw Kayla, he saw Itsu, those he loved, dying over and over in his arms. No, Logan shouted, clutching his head with both hands, his own claws slicing into his scalp as he tried to carve the images out of his brain. And then the nightmare abruptly vanished. He was kneeling on the actual cold stone floor of the laboratory. Sweat, tears, and blood mingled on his face. Doom stood there, looking down at him with infinite contempt. There, your essence, a creature defined by pain and loss. You think yourself immortal? Your immortality is a curse, an eternal loop of failure and suffering, Doom said, his voice now carrying a tone of righteous indignation. You are not worthy of it, and I, Doom, will liberate you. Logan struggled to rise, but his body had betrayed him. Doom waved his hand, and 4 energy rings shot up from the floor, locking around his wrists and ankles, stretching his body out in midair like a pinned insect. Let the anatomy lesson begin. First, that proud skeleton of yours. From the ceiling, a complex device with hundreds of small antennae descended. Doom snapped his fingers. A piercing, ultrasonic sound, beyond the threshold of human hearing, filled the room. But Logan did not just hear it, he felt it. Every bone in his body, every millimeter of adamantium coating began to vibrate violently. The vibration frequency found perfect resonance with the alloy's crystalline lattice. It felt like millions of diamond files simultaneously sawing into every joint, every vertebra. His eyes felt like they would explode. This was pain beyond all physical limits, torture directly inflicted upon the fundamental structure of his being. His howls drowned out the sound of the machinery. Doom observed coldly, his hands clasped behind his back. Your metal shell is excellent, but it is merely a perfect resonator for sonic energy. Painful, yet it is still not enough to kill you. Next, let us explore the limits of your healing. The ultrasonic device stopped. Logan's body, having just endured the terrible vibration, trembled weakly, but Doom gave him no time to rest. From Doom's left hand, a stream of pure white gas, silent and deathly, sprayed out and enveloped Logan's entire body. The temperature plummeted to near absolute zero. His skin, blood, and spinal marrow froze in an instant. He became an ice statue, his eyes wide open and motionless within the frozen cocoon. Life was suspended, but only for a second. Immediately after, from Doom's right hand, a scorching beam of plasma energy, bright as the sun, shot straight at the ice block. The transition from near -273 degrees Celsius to thousands of degrees in a microsecond caused a destructive molecular thermal shock. Logan's entire body exploded with a wet and horrifying pop. Blood and flesh, barely thawed, were instantly seared and vaporized. The outer skin charred black, cracked open, revealing raw red muscle fibers convulsing madly to repair themselves. The acrid stench of burnt meat filled the air, but he was still alive. His eyes, now just 2 charred black sockets, still fixed on Doom with the purest hatred. Muscle fibers were regrowing, nerves reconnecting, like a time-lapse film of life and death. This process, rather than beautiful, was profoundly savage and agonizing. Astonishing, Doom admired, but his voice held no admiration whatsoever. Your healing factor is truly tenacious. It defies entropy, defies the very heat death of the universe. But it still operates within the framework of physics. It cannot create something from nothing, and every chemical reaction, every molecular bond, can be broken. Doom raised both hands. His palms opened, revealing 2 complex emitters. Dark energy, drinking in the surrounding light, began to coalesce into pitch-black spheres. This is the pinnacle of destruction, an invention I have improved upon from the short-sighted research of Reed Richards. He dreamed of stars, of new dimensions, yet overlooked its practical applications right beneath his feet. I call it the Richards Legacy Disintegration Ray, a fitting irony for your end. 2 beams of pure black, silent and colder than ice, shot from Doom's hands and engulfed Wolverine's entire body. At first, nothing happened. Then the surface of Logan's skin began to bubble and evaporate into tiny particles of ash, not from burning, but as if the very atoms composing him had decided to separate from one another. The healing factor regenerated frantically, but this time, the speed of destruction was absolute. This was no longer a fight. This was a scientific execution. The skin, the muscles, the tendons, all dissolved in turn into a murky gray mist, revealing the adamantium skeleton gleaming strangely under the destructive light. Logan screamed, but his larynx had dissolved, leaving only the hiss of air through the gaps of his metal teeth. The internal organs were exposed, beating their final rhythms before being disintegrated into nothingness. His heart, a mass of dark red muscle, contracted once, twice, then gently dissolved into ash, revealing the ribcage within. The entire process took less than 30 seconds. When Doom lowered his hands, the disintegration ray died out. What remained of Wolverine, the immortal, the mightiest warrior of the X-Men, was a glittering adamantium skeleton suspended in midair by 4 energy rings that now had nothing left to hold. The rings vanished, and the skeleton collapsed onto the stone floor with a dry, metallic clang that echoed. The skull rolled to one side, its 2 empty eye sockets seemingly still glaring into eternity. Silence engulfed the room, broken only by the low hum of the machines. Victor Von Doom walked slowly forward. Each of his footsteps on the stone floor was a declaration of absolute power. He stopped before the adamantium skull. He bent down, his armored fingers lifting it to eye level. "Logan, Wolverine, Weapon X, the immortal one," Doom whispered, his voice cold as steel. "You lived through countless wars, across centuries, only to end like this. Not in a warrior's glory, but as a failed experiment at Doom's feet. You relied on the strength of beasts, and that was your error." He tightened his grip. With a terrible crack, the joints of the adamantium jaw were crushed to fragments, the metal fangs clattering down onto the floor. Only will and intellect are immortal. Only Doom is worthy of eternity. He dropped the disfigured skull back onto the pile of bones. "Clean up this mess," he commanded, his voice resonating throughout the chamber. Immediately, a squad of silent Doombots entered, their eyes glowing. "Collect all the adamantium. Melt it down. I shall forge it into a weapon truly worthy of Doom's intellect, not the skeleton of a beast." Doom turned and walked away, his green cloak billowing. He stepped out onto the balcony, gazing out at his kingdom of Latveria engulfed in the storm. Rain poured down, washing the atmosphere clean. He felt no excitement. This was not a victory. This was an inevitability, a law of the universe proven. He, Victor Von Doom, was invincible. Not by a random mutation, but by the iron will that had conquered both science and sorcery. The night storm still howled, but within Castle Doomstadt, only the stillness of absolute power reigned. No one, neither an immortal mutant nor an army, would ever dare to disrespect the borders of Latveria again. The sole victor in this life, as always, was Doom. He clenched his hand. Wolverine's soul shattered like a broken mirror. Thousands of spiritual fragments, each containing a piece of memory, a facet of Logan's personality, were dispersed into the void. Doom had not destroyed it, for destroying a soul was nearly impossible. Instead, he had torn it apart and scattered each fragment into chaotic dimensions, where they would be swept into eternal energy currents, never to be reassembled. It was a permanent spiritual death. On the laboratory floor, Wolverine's body suddenly stopped trembling. It lay still. The eyes were wide open, but they were no longer the eyes of a hunter. They were 2 lifeless glass marbles, containing not a shred of consciousness. The wounds caused by the sonic attack were still healing themselves. The torn skin regenerated, the blood stopped flowing, the nerves reconnected. The biological machine still functioned perfectly, but its driver had vanished. Dr. Doom stood there, looking down at his masterpiece. He had achieved absolute victory. He did not kill Wolverine, because killing was a concept far too mundane, too human for someone like him. He had done something far more cruel and magnificent. He had turned an immortal being into an object. "Take him to the gallery," Doom commanded, turning his back and walking toward the throne. His voice had returned to its usual cold, emotionless tone. "Place him in the southeast corner, beside Tiven's cosmic hand and beneath the statue of Dormammu. That is a worthy position for a warrior, even though he was never truly an opponent." Doombots emerged from the shadows, silently lifting the lifeless yet still living body of Wolverine. His arms hung limp, his claws still extended, glistening under the artificial light like a curse. A few hours later, as dawn broke over the spires of Doomstadt, Victor Von Doom stood by the window, sipping a glass of wine from his own vineyards. He felt no excitement. To him, it was just an ordinary Tuesday evening. He had neutralized a potential problem before it became a real threat, and simultaneously acquired another precious artifact for his collection. In the gallery, deep underground, Wolverine's body stood motionless. The heart still beat, the lungs still breathed, but no growl would ever again emerge from that throat. There would be no escape, there would be no return. Science could heal the body, but no science or mutant on Earth could mend a soul that had been torn into tens of thousands of pieces and scattered into oblivion. Logan, James Howlett, Wolverine, the one known as Immortal, had finally found his end. Not in the glory of battle, but in absolute silence, like a decorative piece in the castle of the clown named Doom. He had been overwhelmed, not by strength, but by the brutal truth that in the face of intellect and iron will, all physical immortality was nothing but a cruel joke. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Thank you all very much.